I'm Don Haynes. I'm a retired clergy person of the Western North Carolina Conference. I'm also a minister emeritus here at First United Methodist Church in Asheboro. And surprise, surprise, I was so honored by being made minister emeritus at New Salem United Methodist Church in Statesville, a church I'd served really from 1962 to 66. So at both these former churches I have a title that has really no job description, no money, and no authority. But I love the title anyway. For 46 years was active in the Western North Carolina Conference. I retired in 1999. And then for 16 years, I taught Wesleyan studies at Hood Theological Seminary in Salisbury. And then retired again from that in 2016. But during that same 16-year period, I was interim at 6 of our churches, most of them here in this area, but one in Charlotte, Covenant. And for 4 years, not only interim, but pastor at Kellam Grove Christian Church up in Rockingham County, where I'm from. So that's kind of the diversity that I bring to a vision that I had a few weeks ago. I thought, Don, you're not doing anything for the kingdom. You're not preaching anymore. I've written 5 books, but I don't really plan to write another book. And I am really concerned about the decline of the Sunday school. From about 1872, when we developed the Uniform Lesson Series, which we now know as the International Lesson Series, for Sunday school, it grew rapidly. By the time I was a young minister in the 1950s, I remember being told 7 of every 8 people who joined the Methodist Church come through the Sunday school. The Sunday school was often larger in attendance than worship was. By 1957, we began to see a decline in Sunday school. By the 1960s, that became a flood, and we lost an enormous amount of Sunday school attendance. It has declined every year since 1968, and today we really have a dearth of small group learning sessions, sharing sessions, fellowship sessions, biblical studies in most of our local churches. Sunday school is not even ghost of what it used to be. So we need small groups. And I thought, well, let me make a little bitty contribution to this. I'm using the textbook, Digest of Wesleyan Grace Theology, which I wrote about 2 years ago. And I have 6 sessions that I invite you to attend. You can use by YouTube or a DVD what I am saying right now. You can cut out this introduction if you want to, and we'll have a 30-minute session. Let me tell you what the 6 are going to be. The first one is the biblical theology of our identity. We often are told, you are a sinner. That's number 2. If you look in the first book of the Bible, first chapter of the Bible, first page of the Bible, at Genesis 1:27, this is what you'll read. God created humankind in God's own image. Now, friends, that's going to be our session for the first time, and that really indelibly identifies our isness, who we are. Second session, we have fallen from grace. We are children of God who have sinned. Our behavior does not define us, but it is very real. We call this original sin because it goes back to Adam and Eve. Third session, John 3:16 is the gist of the whole Christian gospel. God's love initiated grace. God so loved the world that God gave God's only Son, that whoever believes in that Son is given eternal life, not everlasting life. We'll talk a lot about that in session 3, but eternal life, a real difference. The fourth session is what I call the three faces of grace. God's preparing grace, which is totally at God's initiative. Technically, it's called prevenient grace. God's pardoning grace, sometimes called justifying grace or saving grace. And the third phase is perfecting grace. A participle, you notice, with an ing. We are being perfected as we walk with the Lord. The fifth session is what John Wesley called means of grace. That is, if we don't practice some means of grace, we'll backslide. We'll leak out. We'll grow cold. We'll drop out of church. We might stay in church but become just kind of hangers-on. So, by means of grace, which is prayer, searching the scriptures, frequent communion, holy conversation about these things we're talking about in these 6 sessions, and then attendance at worship. If we do those things, we will continue to grow in grace. That's our 5th session. Our 6th session is what John Wesley called the Catholic spirit. He had a saying, though we may not think alike, can we not love alike? If your heart is as my heart, give me your hand. We can walk together, just as we do in marriage, in families, among siblings, and the best of friends. We have our differences of opinion, but we don't just break it off. We continue to be in relationship. Catholic spirit. That's the 6th session.